Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, everybody? Of course, it is yours truly, Dr. Mike, coming back at you guys with another video today. As I always do, magandang umaga, magandang gabi, magandang hapon, which means good morning, good evening, and of course, good afternoon, depending on what time you guys choose to watch this video today. Today, I got a very, very interesting story to tell, and what I want to teach a lot of my foreigners who come into the country in reference to the story I'm going to share with you now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it because I do not wish to be before you long. The first time I ever visited the Philippines, I was in my junior year of high school. So, 16, 17 years old, right? Had absolutely no idea about the Philippines, of course, but knowing yours truly and the intellectual he tried to be at that time, I did my research, all right? Now, when it comes to research, I found out that, of course, it was in Asia, so off top, tick mark in a positive. That was definitely a pro, because considering my previous experience that I had when we were living in Japan, shout out to Okinawa, that's where we lived at, we were on the air base out there. Considering where we used to live at when we were in Japan, I knew the experience that I had there, so I kind of felt like I really had a gravitation, or like it was pulling me to go towards Asia. I didn't know specifically Southeast Asia, but I knew it was in Asia, so that was definitely something that kind of interested me in taking the trip. Anyways, second thing that I realized was that the Philippines was a third world country. Now, you hear third world country, Google it, you see some pretty bad pictures, okay? I'm not gonna lie, you see some pretty bad stuff. Now, I had absolutely no idea how bad it was gonna be. So when I arrived in the Philippines, I arrived at nighttime, probably about 11 o'clock at night. So I get in the taxi, or actually my dad had a car, so my pops picked me up from the airport. You know, we go downstairs, get something to eat in the mall. Ironically, something was open at 11 o'clock at night. And then after that, go upstairs, go to the bedroom, go to sleep. So next morning, I wake up. Dad wants to take me out for a walk. He's like, come on, son, let me show you some stuff around here, because, you know, I don't know anything. Right then and there, I realized exactly what I was getting myself into. The level of poverty in the Philippines is a level of poverty that you have never seen in your whole entire life. You think it's bad in the United States? It's 10 times worse in the Philippines. I would put Philippines on par with some parts of Africa and on par with a lot of other countries that live in these third world impoverished nations, basically. So he was showing me all of this stuff. He said, you see that, Mike? He said, this right here is everyday living for most of these people. This right here is the only life that they will ever know. This right here is the only thing. They were born into this, and they will likely die in the same situation. You know, he showed me this, and I was like, damn, man, I feel so bad for these people. I did, man. That shit hits the heart, yo. It's like, damn, you want to save them, man. We're talking about not just grown people, not just elders, not just regular people. We're talking about babies, everything. You would see anything and everything just on the streets, right in front of our condo, like right in front of the street where we live at. You can see that stuff all over the country when you walk around. In most areas in the Philippines, let me be specific. But deep down in your heart of hearts, you have this idea, man, what can I do? What can I do to help these people? What can I do to, one way or another, change their circumstances or do something to help them out in any way, shape, or form? So, you know, you start giving change. 5 pesos here, 10 pesos there, 20 pesos if you're feeling generous. You start buying food. And go to McDonald's, you can get a rice meal and stuff for like 50 pesos. Very cheap, not really expensive. Or you go to the Carinderia, they have cheap food there. So you start giving out food, and you start giving out change, and you start doing this. Maybe you'll buy a kid some sandals or zapatos, or, you know, sandals or like shoes so that they can walk, so they don't have to walk around barefoot. You buy some for this person, you buy some from that person, and then, you know, all of a sudden you start making this a charitable thing. And it makes you feel good. Definitely makes you feel 100% good to do right by these people. But in all actuality, no matter how much you do, no matter how hard you fight to do the right thing, there is one thing that will always be fact. And that is the simple fact that you will never be able to help them all. You'll never be able to help every Filipino in a country that is going through such a dire situation. All right? You cannot be Captain Save Them All. You just cannot. You cannot be Captain Save Them All. Some of you guys coming to the country, women too also. Women, I believe you guys probably give the most because you guys are the most kind-hearted. What I've noticed in the Philippines, most time the women coming from foreign countries, they are the most kind-hearted when it comes to, especially the street children. You know, so they're definitely giving out money, giving out change, food, you know, if they have extra t-shirts and stuff like that, you definitely want to do your best to help. But let me tell you what happens when you do that. You help one, you help another, you help another, then all of a sudden you're going to see a congregation of people coming around you. Because let's be honest, you're not just going to run into one street person in a day, you're going to run into 10 to 15 to 20, if not more. So you're definitely going to run into a lot of people on the street, and they see you helping one person, then you got to help the other. If that person sees you helping them, then you got to help them. Then if another person sees you helping them, then you got to help them too, because you feel obligated to do so. When you're seen doing good, why would you help this person and not help the other, right? So you kind of feel like you're basically digging yourself into a hole. You're putting yourself out there so that you have to help everybody, and you just can't. The Philippines is a third world country, and you can't do anything about it. You personally cannot do anything about it. No matter how hard you try to you just can't. You understand? You can't do it. So I want to make this video in reference to the Captain Save Them Alls. All right, the individuals who come into the country with such a big heart. I know there's a lot of you guys out there, a lot of you women out there who have such big hearts, and I congratulate you and applaud you on that 100%. But I need you to understand that if you get into this situation, what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up spending all of your money, giving it away to everybody else. Then what do you have for you? If you give away everything that you have, you know, like your Mother Teresa or something to that nature, what do you have for yourself? Nothing. So you're in the country basically giving everything that you can for everybody else, but you're not taking care of you. And that's the problem that a lot of people go through, and it's something that you feel like you're dragged into. It's nothing that you really expected to do. Maybe you come to the Philippines with philanthropic, if that's the word, philanthropic ambitions and philanthropic ambitions, or you come to the country with the idea of doing volunteer work, working at the Red Cross, doing things like that, or working with nonprofits to help the street kids or to help the impoverished families. A lot of you guys come to the country with that ambition and the idea of coming into mind, but what ends up happening is you find yourself giving away more money than you can actually bring in for yourself, and that's a problem. You know, that puts you in a situation where, oh my God, what am I going to do for me? I've given away everything that I had, you know, in reference to money, clothes, whatever you have, money-wise, financially-wise, whether it be food, whatever it may be. You've given away the majority of your money in reference to those particular items and supplies, so you have nothing for yourself to live off of. And like I said, you're kind of drug into it. You kind of feel guilty. You kind of feel guilty that you come from possibly a first world country where you have all of the luxuries and the, amenities and all of these things. So you feel guilty. That's like the main reason a lot of you guys find yourself in such situations, because you feel guilty about the situation around you. And you don't want to seem like a bad person and not help. All right. If you could help, you want to help. That's the same with me. I know my limits. I lived in the country for 10 years, so I know my limits. I know what I can do, and I know what I'm willing to do and what I am not willing to do. But a lot of you first-timers coming into the country, you don't know when to stop. You don't know when to say, okay, enough is enough, simply because you want to be Captain Save Them All. Now, in reference to my guys out there who find themselves in situations with women who come from families that may not be well off, or from families, or a girl that comes from a family that, you know, really does need some help, what do? You date the girl, you want to try to help her, and you want to help the family. So you know what that means? Taking money out of your relationship and out of your pocket to go towards the family. We're talking about cousins, sisters, mother, father, Lolo, grandmother, grandfather. You're trying to help everybody in the family, but you ain't helping yourself. Or you try to help everybody in the family for what? You cannot save them all. Now you want to start giving your girl allowances, and you want to start doing this for her, and you want to start doing that for her, and establishing what I would refer to as bad habits. You know, once you establish these bad habits, and you start allowing yourself to fall into what I like to call the trap, the guilt trip, wherein you have and they don't have, so you want to make sure that they have too, the situation comes out where it's always more and more and more and more. There's always going to be somebody who needs something. There's always going to be a bill to pay. There's always going to be a financial situation that deals with schooling. There's always going to be somebody's cousin who needs to go to school. There's always going to be somebody who's in a hospital. There's always going to be some financial situation that requires you to spend money that you may or may not have. And you feel obligated because you're the foreigner, right? You're the person who has the money. You're the person coming from the first world. You're the person who was only experiencing this type of poverty for the first time. So what do? You help. You continue to help. You continue to help. AKA, you become the captain, save them all. And sometimes you don't even do that for just one person. Sometimes you want to do that for multiple people. Sometimes you want to come to the country and you want to have multiple girlfriends, maybe. Or maybe you have multiple girls that you care about, or girls that kind of guilt trip you into helping them. So maybe you're helping one girl's family, then you're helping another girl's family, then you might be helping a third girl's family. Because you believe that you have all the money in the world and that you can be captain, save them all. But you can't. Simply because you don't have the money to do that. Let's be honest. You don't have the money. You don't have enough money for yourself and to be taking care of other people. You just don't have it in you. I'm telling you right now, you don't have it. I try to be as nice as I can about this because I've talked about it previously before in probably other videos that were done a while back. But I want to make sure that I clarified that you have to worry about self first. Is that selfish? Probably. But I believe that you need to worry about self first. Make sure you're okay before you start worrying about everybody else. Make sure you're okay before you start worrying about everybody else's problems. You have your own problems. You're a foreigner in a foreign country. You probably have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You're new to the country. You're just trying to adjust and you're trying to adapt and you're trying to make sure or see if this is a place that you can see yourself in for a long period of time. I lived there for 10 years, and I genuinely believe that that's the place for me. Philippines is the place for me. All right? I love the Philippines. I genuinely love the Philippines. Excuse me. Philippines is my second home. Always has and always will be. I may create other homes in other areas, maybe down the line, but the Philippines will always be the place for me. And I had to learn over a period of time what I can do and what I can't do. Know your limitations, ladies and gentlemen. Know your limitations. You cannot save them all. You cannot be captain, save them all. You cannot help them all. No matter how hard you try, you cannot help them all. So put it in your mind. Establish if this is something that you really feel like you want to do, you have to establish a budget for that. Once you exceed that budget, stop. All right? If you find a cause that you're willing to donate to or something that really touches your heart or something that you really want to be a part of, go for it. I agree 100%. But if you're going to get into the business, let's say, for example, you want to be that type of person who wants to establish their own foundation in the Philippines, and you want to start what we refer to as e-begging. Let's go ahead and throw that in the video. We're going to end it after this because there's a lot of foreigners that I see doing this stuff, and it's kind of sideways and it's kind of foul, depending on how you look at it. Now, most of these guys, some of these guys have YouTube channels, some of these guys have websites, some of these guys have situations or have a way of setting it up to where they try to show you guys the experiences that are going on in the Philippines, and they try to touch and pull at your heartstrings, all right? And basically what they end up doing is asking you to donate to their cause. Asking you to donate to help these people in the Philippines. Because they're doing it, they want you to do it as well. And a lot of channels have been absolutely successful at doing so. I can name probably 3 off the top of my head that I know of that have been definitely successful. They have their own Patreon accounts. They have, PayPal. And there are avid followers and people who want to help the people in the Philippines that are featured in their particular videos. I really have I have an issue with that. I really do. And the issue lies where I don't know if they're for real or not. That's my problem. I don't know if these e-begging people are for real or not. Now, we call it e-begging because basically what they do is they film a situation. They film a Filipino's house, or like a Filipino family's way of living on the street or something like that, and they try to tell you, you know, donate to their cause so that they can help this person. You know, you can help them with whatever little money that you send, right? That's how they get you. So you send a little money and stuff, and there are sometimes they give updates and videos and stuff like that wherein they show you the update of what your money has gone to. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. Sometimes guys get upset when you ask them what or where their money went to. What their money went to and where it went to. What did you use my X amount of dollars for? And show me. Like, show me some receipts. Like, people get upset. Some of these guys get really pissed off when you ask them what your money is going to, you know? Or what the money you sent is going towards, right? I've seen it happen. I've seen guys blow up. And it's a real shame. And it's a real shame. That's why I really don't want you guys to get involved in anything like that. I strongly advocate against it unless you really trust that person to be 100% real with you. Unless you trust that person to provide receipts and show you what they spent and how they spent it, I don't recommend you send money to nobody. Nobody. I mean, there are a lot of people who, like for me, example, if I'm going to ask you guys to donate to the channel, I want you guys to donate to the cause. You know, I'm trying to make my stuff the best I possibly can and provide you guys with all the information that you need. If I come out and I say, you know, if you guys feel like donating to the Patreon or becoming a patron on Patreon, I'm telling you that simply because I want you guys to donate because you feel like it, because you're like, you know what, I believe in what you're doing, I like what you're doing here, and I want to be a part of the cause. That's what I ask for. I'm not saying, oh yeah, the money that you send me is gonna go to XYZ and this, that, and other, and it be a complete lie. And I've seen people do that, and that's kind of why I have a problem with it. But I'm not gonna get into details about people who e-beg and people who do things like that, because sometimes they are for real in their philanthropic endeavors. They are true to it sometimes, but sometimes they really are just looking for a way to have other people support their way of living in the Philippines. And I want you to keep that in mind. I feel like if you want to do something like that, donate to somebody you believe is credible. I'm not telling you that any of the people that you're donating to are not credible. I don't know. They could be very real, but you have to read between the lines sometimes with a lot of these people who e-beg, because they're just as shady as anybody else that I've ever met in my whole entire life. I've never personally donated. I lived in the country, so I know what it's like firsthand. If I'm going to give money, I'd rather make sure that that money comes out of my pocket and into the hands of the people that I want it to benefit. I don't ask other people to help me help these other people. I do it because I want to. And you should do it because you want to. Alright? Not because somebody tells you to or makes you feel guilty coming from your first world country. Don't let anybody guilt trip you into anything. Alright? Remember that. Never let any of these people guilt trip you into helping people. You do it because you want to. And that is my time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dr. Mike, and I have had the time of my life. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know what's going on in your life. Let me know how you feel about the video. By all means, this is an open channel, open debate. I am here for you like you are here for me. And I 100% appreciate you guys showing up every time that I post a video. And I want you to understand I could not be who I am without you guys. And I hope that the audience continues to grow. But if I stay at this number for a significant amount of time, I guess that's what God has intended for me in my life. Alright? So this has been my time. So, as always, you know how we end. I love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.